All right, I think we're live this time, for real. Let's try this again. For some reason, I couldn't get the YouTube one to work, but I think I fixed it. I think I had the wrong stream key. I was like, why isn't it going? And then I'm just using the wrong stream key the whole time. Let me get the chat configured. Hopefully it actually finds it this time. Let me just test Twitch. And test YouTube. Hey, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. Sorry, I'm fighting my my little chat tool thing here. It just doesn't seem to okay, there we go. I think it grabbed YouTube. All right, nice. Nice. And then let's try Twitch again. Sorry, it's always like the first couple minutes of the stream. There we go. Now they're both working. All right, I can clear the chat. Hey, welcome everyone. Sorry, let me just... All right, here we go. All right. Okay, this is actually attempt number 2. My first attempt at starting the stream did not work because I used the wrong stream key for YouTube. I was like, how come my chat's not working? But I think it's all good now. Yeah, so, hey everyone. I tried to stream last weekend, but I couldn't really stream because my internet was having a lot of problems. And I was busy on Sunday, so I couldn't stream Sunday. So we're back at it again, another weekend. Still working on the shooter game. You have a doubt, multiplayer. How different computer have different frame rates? How do you manage it? So there's 2 ways you can manage different frame rates. The easiest way is to use what's called delta time, which is basically every time the frame runs, you use the difference in time between the current frame and the last frame, which would be like in some fraction of milliseconds, right? Because that's usually how fast games run. And you use that delta time as like a multiplier to all of your basically, I don't know, movement code and like game state code. Anything that changes over frames, you'd use delta time. But in multiplayer games, which I guess you did call out, in multiplayer games, delta time isn't actually the best solution because you want like the server and the client to kind of be running at the same rate in terms of game state updates. So what a lot of games do, which my game actually doesn't do yet, and this is something I'm gonna be changing soon. So what those games do is use a tick system. So like you might have the server run at, I don't know, 100 ticks per second. And you would have a system that would just ensure that for every second that the game's running, you run 100 ticks worth of update calls, I guess. And then you would do the same on the client, right? And you just kind of ensure that the client and the server both run 100 ticks per second. And that way you don't have to use delta time because you just know that your game's going to update 100 times a second. For animation, you might not need to because it's already keyframed. Is a degree required for non-gaming graphics programming? It depends on the company. I would say no, but the thing is, it's either you have a degree or you have like relevant experience that can like... The companies need some way of verifying that you actually like know what you say you know, right? And like when they're just screening your resume from like an application, they're gonna want to see like either a degree or like previous work experience. Obviously, the deeper you get into your career, the less important your degree is, because like 4 years at university is not as significant as like multiple years actually doing the work that you're getting employed to do. So yeah, that's how that works. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I got on a tangent. Yeah, today I want to work on different game modes. So right now the only game mode in here is free for all. So it's just everyone versus everybody. So I want to add team-based modes, which should be pretty interesting. And then, sorry, let me just make sure the Twitch is working. Nice, we have someone in here. Yeah, also, I have the executables for the current version of this game in the description. So there's a link if you guys want to download and like playtest. So it seems that someone has just joined. And they are immediately destroying me. Stick RPG. He's in the Discord server too, so. let me change my name just so people know it's me. Yeah, so I have the game executables if you guys want to join the server and play with me, or play with other people, I guess. I think it's kind of fun. I added snow as well, so you can see there's snow on this level, which is kind of cool. Little like sprite-based little snow particles. So that's fun. Yeah, it's just I think there's a way to cheese hate registration. Go for it, and then tell me how that works. Because I'm responding to the in-game chat here. I added some server-side verification to the player hit detection this week because I was kind of getting annoyed by the wall hacks from last week. So I added a bit of server-side hit verification in like player position stuff. Well, the player position isn't actually server-sided yet, so you can still like fly around and hack. Oh, I didn't turn off no clip actually. That's kind of annoying. People are going to be able to no clip in here, but maybe that's fine. How is the snow added? Okay, yeah, sorry. I was about to answer the question of the server. Yeah, I just pay for like a server host. And I just host it basically like on a Linux server. Let me turn the volume down, sorry. Yeah, I did snow. Little instanced particle-based little sprite snow, which is kind of funny. They clip through the building right now, so I might fix this today as well. Because it's like the snow is stateless, so it doesn't actually know its position. So it can't like collide. You're invisible. It's because you're dead. Oh yeah, okay. I might fix this. This is kind of annoying. All right, I'm gonna fix that and then put the new server up. Okay, don't download the games yet, guys. Let me make new versions of the server. I don't want to deal with this today. Sorry. Let me fix this bug. So he was able to kill me while dead because I'm not verifying that the player is actually alive yet. So let me don't download the game yet, guys. I'm gonna fix this. All right. So first thing we need to do is go into the server. This is actually like a simple check. So if player, here we'll do it. If, well, you can shoot and then die. So maybe if, let's see. So the player state of the, I don't know. What should I call this? The destination? All right, so we'll do this. If this... All right, so both players have to be alive now. Okay. So this should stop that hack in its feet. And then let's also turn off no clip because I don't want no clip in here. No clip 0. So let me just make sure this doesn't break anything. Yeah, the server's on the cloud. I have it running on a Linux. It's just like a Linux server that's running the game. All right, so that still works. All right, sorry. Let me let me recompile these binaries here. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Sorry, I'm just getting some stuff up and running here. I had an oversight, which was immediately found. Let's delete the packages folder. Put the server up. Oops, no, we can't do this. We need to set the server version. How can you donate? You don't have to donate. I don't need donations. I'm not streaming for money, so it's fine. You don't have to. I just stream for fun. Okay, so we drag this up here and rename this. Sorry, let me just get these new binaries uploaded to the Google Drive. You want to donate? If you insist, I'll use the money to buy new gun models or something. But you don't have to. I appreciate it though. You're gonna be number 2. Would you say code is like figuring out a jigsaw puzzle? Yeah, kind of. I feel like it's like a very similar kind of mental exercise too. All right, sorry. Now I gotta get the Linux build fixed. Uh-oh. Here we go. All right, so now this is how I can do Linux from my Windows PC. I have a remote desktop tool. So let me build the Linux binaries really quick. And we'll go into here and delete all of these. Let me go kill the server as well. How can I do it? I don't know how you can do it. I think there's like the super chat thing. Maybe. I don't have a donation link. I'm not like I don't even know what's happening. All right, so let's see. Files, anarchy. Sorry, it's not too thrilling content here at the beginning of the stream. Okay, so sorry, I'm doing some stuff off screen as well at the same time. Anarchy. Here we go. These are done now, I think. Are these done? Yeah, okay. So we want to cut this, put this here, paste. Linux server. Okay, and then we will compress that and then compress that. All right. Are these both done? Yes, they are. I mean, I think you guys can donate because I recently qualified for YouTube monetization because I finally got enough views per month or something. There's like some requirement where you can't be monetized until a certain like amount of views or something. Because like someone did super chat last stream, I think, or 2 streams ago, and I didn't realize it first because I didn't get notifications for it because I wasn't expecting it. Like I didn't realize it was like working already. So that was something. Okay, sorry. My internet might drop while these are uploading. So if I go choppy, that's why. It looks like I've already dropped 286 frames. Hey, welcome, welcome. Okay, so those are uploaded. Okay, so the new binaries are uploaded, so you guys can download now if you're interested. You don't have to, of course. But the new ones are up. So let me just get the server back up as well. So I just have to download this. This is such a process, actually. So if I go to my downloads folder, all these go. And I drag that up there. Place. Files. Upload. You guys can't see what I'm doing, but just have to trust that I'm cooking. How do I get the characters and the guns? Some of the guns were made by some friends and I, like literally like 10, 15 years ago. The models, I think, were just basically stolen shamelessly from some Quake mod or something. I don't remember. So the models, all the stuff is like temporary at the moment. The textures and the models and the sounds, because obviously I'm just kind of like using random assets that I find online, just as like placeholder stuff, so I can get the game running. And then, depending on how seriously I actually want to take this project, I might get the models remade, so actually own them and own the rights to them, so that if I like distribute the game, I'm not going to get sued. All right, sorry, the server's currently uploading onto the server hosting service I'm using. So you can change later. Yeah, I can change the textures and stuff later. And didn't you use any API like Vulkan? Yeah, I use OpenGL and DirectX and Metal right now. So I don't have Vulkan working yet. It's a work in progress, but admittedly I haven't worked on it in a few months. So it's not really a work in progress. I have it kind of implemented. Like I have, let me see, I don't even remember. Graphics, Vulkan. I have like up to creating the VK device. So I have the initialization of my VK device, which is like a good chunk of code. But this is literally it. I need the stub and all these other functions for my API to work. What's Metal X? Metal is Apple's graphics API. Okay, here we go. Server can get up now. It's in the description. I have links to all this stuff in the description if you want to find it. All right, new server should be up. Here we go. I fixed the kill players while you're dead exploit. So you guys will need to re-download the new version if you want to try it from the same link. I use GNOME, I think. Whatever one this one is, I don't even remember how to check. I use Debian, and I think I have the GNOME desktop. GNOME. And I literally only use my Linux PC. Did I ever try Linux? Yeah, the engine works on Linux. The server's Linux based. So this is a Linux PC that I have. I'm just in a remote desktop tool for my Windows PC right now. So I can like access it while also streaming. Yeah, so that's how that works. Hey, we got our first victim has connected. Okay, let me log in with my actual name here. Here we go. Yo. I should change the username colors. I'm not sure if this like pink username text is too masculine. Oh my god, the menu, bro. The menu. I'm new here, so I ask. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, all good. You can ask questions. All right, let's see. So yeah, I want to add... Okay, yeah, now stick RPG. You can try your exploit and tell me how it works. So you can still shoot while dead. So I didn't fix that problem, but you can't kill me anymore. Which is good enough for me. Yeah, it doesn't work. Dang it. Ouch. Your question got removed. Sorry, what was your question? I'm not removing anything, so YouTube might have deleted it for some reason. I think I have like the auto chat moderation thing going. So you can just ask it again. I'll try and answer. Game looks good, but only animation for running and walking. Yeah, the player movement is like basically non-existent still. Because I haven't put much time into it. It's like you can walk around, but this is like literally the only movement mode is just walking. It's like Minecraft, the OG Minecraft before they added sprint. You just walk around everywhere. So maybe I'll add sprinting and crouch today. That could be fun. Dang, you're good. The real trick is to use the sniper rifle as the real gun here. We got a nice little lobby going. 4 players. Can you join? Yeah, you can join. You can download the link in the description. Dang it. I won't spend all stream playing the game though. I will get some work done. It's just fun to have the game running as well. Because yeah, I want to add team-based game modes. Maybe a mini-map today. Dang it. You guys are good. Oh god, I'm headshot. Headshot. That was good, that was good. Is there a list of controls? No, there isn't. It's like WASD keyboard movement. The enter key opens up chat, so I can type. Left mouse is shoot, right mouse is aim. Middle, the scroll wheel is change your weapon. Can a mobile user also join? No, I only have Mac and Linux builds working, so nice work, Jared. Yeah, nice. Am I planning to build the cheat engine? Someone already built a hacked client for this game. Here, let me pull up in the. Someone has a funny cheat client in here. Let me pull it up. Okay, look at this client someone made. They're in my Discord server. So he made an IMGUI little hacked client UI. He has like spinning character mode. He has like aimbot, no fire rate. Like, yeah, this is pretty intense. So yeah, that's fun. How to join? The link's in the description. You just download it and then connect with the IP that's filled in already. Dang, you guys are good. I should look forward to having. I look forward to having. What? Oh, hack versus hacker. Yeah, I'm still not used to that acronym. Oh yeah, so sorry, I'm missing questions. Do I plan to release anywhere like Steam? I'm not sure yet exactly. So my original plan when I started working on this was I was gonna release the source code when it's like pretty much, you know, done, quote unquote. Just because I wanted this to be like, this is actually like a side project for me. So I have like the main project I'm working on, but I wanted to get, I just want to get experience writing multiplayer code again, because it's been a while since I've written multiplayer code. So like both writing the code, the sort of conventions you have to use to write good netcode. I was just rusty on that, so I wanted to make a little shooter game to practice. And then also at the engine level, I needed support for like various things in respect to like multiplayer. So this project is a good little side project that I can kind of develop the engine and just get used to writing multiplayer code again. And then when I'm kind of done with this, which might be soon actually, I was just gonna release the source code as like an example project for the engine in like the GitHub repository. But I also thought a Steam release would be fun as well. Like if I just made it a free download on Steam and people could host servers and just like have kind of an old school first-person shooter thing. I think that could be fun. The problem is that like the FPS genre is just really oversaturated. So while this game is like kind of neat, it's not really innovative in any way at all. Like I'm kind of just like making a poor man's version of Call of Duty with like graphics from, you know, 1990. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think the source code would be better. I have not seen Hell Engine. Can I make an anti-cheat for your engine? Yeah, go for it. I don't care. If you want to hack, fine with me. Wow, there's actually a lot of people in here. All right, let's see. Where is everyone? It cost many dollars. Looks like a salt cube. Sorry, I missed a question. Any good resource to learn game development, graphics programming? I don't really have any good resources, to be honest. It's kind of like one of those things where there's just so much to learn in game development that it's like hard to point to one resource in particular to just like learn everything. Because the way like I learn stuff is I just work project by project, and like if I'm working on multiplayer, for instance, I'll like make a little game that tries to implement multiplayer, and I'll just learn about multiplayer through that project. But that's like my main focus, right? And then if I'm learning graphics, I'll like spend time doing like graphics related projects. So I learn like each kind of, I guess, discipline in isolation, and then over time you just sort of gather skills, I guess. And then you can start putting them together and make like a little game. And then if you make multiple games, you kind of just get better at making games, I think. Yeah. So I do have the engine source code up on the GitHub already. I think there's a link to it in the description. It just doesn't have the game project. Yeah. Nice. You guys are good. Let me change the map. We're going to go to level 1. Here, we're going to go to this map now. This map doesn't have snow. Dang it. What GCC? I need to make the mouse a little less sensitive here. What do we have? 7 people in here? Nice. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna actually start working now. I'm gonna add maybe I'll do the mini map first. But actually what I want to do is I want to make the snow not clip through the I'll start with something kind of easy first. So I have this problem on this map where the snow clips through the the level geometry. Oh, I want to turn no clip back on. All right, let's see. Where is the project source code? Let me turn no clip back on. Yeah, so I have this problem with this level where the snow clips through the building. Oh, does it? Which platform are you on? Linux or Windows? Because it should be getting set on Windows, but maybe Linux I'm doing it incorrectly. Too many files. Don't you get confused? Not really. Because I've written all the files, so I just know what they are. Oh yeah, this is a good example of I added server-side player hit verification last week, or I guess in between this week and last week. So now the left side is the server, by the way. So I have a local server running now, and I just have like a spectator view when the server runs. Can I boost the snow speed? Yeah, I could. But yeah, anyway, so this like red outline thing is the I guess the player hitbox. Well, it's not precisely a hitbox, right? Because it's like a sphere. But I had this problem where like I wasn't verifying that when a player shoots another player, that the shot that they claim they make is actually like a valid shot. I was just like blindly trusting that the clients, when they shoot another player, it would just like blindly trust that that was valid and then apply damage to that player. So then someone made a hack where like they were just sending the damage packet to the server, and the server was like, okay, yep, that sounds right. And then it was just like killing the other people. So you could just kill everybody instantly basically if you hacked. So I had to actually add some checks where like the bullet ray you claim to have shot actually does originate at your player and actually does intersect another player. But this is a bit complicated because there's latency in between like the client and the different servers, or the server and the different clients. So you need to like store a buffer of like previous player positions. And then since the client interpolates the player position between like update frames, it's like a continuous historic buffer. So as I fly around, this is the server's view. So this is like the places where a shot is actually valid for a specific player, if that makes any sense. So like it like stores the head position because there's a damage multiplier for the head, and then the red is just like the body in general. So right now I don't have a formal tick system in the engine yet. But right now I think it's like 30 ticks per second for update, for player movement update. So like the server sends player positions to the clients 30 times a second, and then the client interpolates in between that, so it looks smooth. Can I add vehicles? That would be fun. Add like Jeeps and stuff. But yeah, I want to fix this snow clipping thing. There are a couple ways I could solve it, actually. The easiest way to solve this would just be to just have a height map of the level that the particles sample when they try to render, and then test against the height map. And if it's like underneath the height map, then hey, how's it going? Welcome. Welcome, wizard. So yeah, I'm gonna maybe do that first. I was thinking whether I want this to be dynamic or not, but I think I'm just gonna bake the height map into a texture and sample that, because it doesn't make sense to like render the height map every frame or something. So let's see. I'll write some code that can just generate a height map, and then I'll just save it from render doc or something. So how do I want to do this? I don't know. How do I want to do this? I guess what should my height maps like inputs be? I guess maybe the snow volume min and max would be the height map. So we'll create a new shader here. I'll steal the forward shader. Where is it? Shader forward. What is this? Basic light. Here, we'll grab this shader. We're just going to, you'll see what I'm doing in a second here. Shader height map, I'll call it. And then the output of our shader will just be out.color0 equals, so we'll have like float height is equal to in.position.z. I don't remember if this is in world space or not. I don't think it is. Yeah, this is model view projection. So we want this in world space. So we want out.position world is equal to basically the matrix model times in position. We can delete those. Delete. These. Then so position world.z. So this will get like world coordinates. Do you have a C port for your Manta engine API? No, I don't. It's just C++ at the moment. Can you pick up a roadmap? Yeah, terminal based. That's an interesting question. Yeah, so the first thing you would need, of course, is a way of creating a window, right? Because you're in a terminal currently and you want to get to a window. So you need a way of getting a window. And there's a lot of libraries that do this easily for you. So you could use like STL, I guess, is a very popular one that game engines use. And that gives you basically an API to create a window and I guess get the renderer hooked up. So you'll need to create a window. You'll need a renderer. And there's just so many ways to do this. But like the easiest way would be to create a window and then maybe get a renderer hooked up with like OpenGL. So you basically create a window and then you create an OpenGL context. And then from the context, you can start submitting like draw calls to the window through the frame buffer. And then, you know, the classic example is to like draw the triangle. And you can go to like learnopengl.org, I think. What is it? You can go to this website, learnopengl.com here. And this will walk through basically like how to render stuff. So you want to do this probably. And then game engines have more than just rendering though. So you'll have like user input. So you want to be able to pull like the mouse and the keyboard. So you can move around. You probably want audio so you can play sound. But yeah, I focus first on like the window and the renderer because that's kind of like the biggest hurdle. Okay, so anyway, so we have the world position.z. We're going to normalize this. So plus 12 divided by 512. These are just hard-coded values for now. We will saturate this so it's always between 0 and 1. Oops, what happened? Out. Okay, so this is a shader that will just, I don't know why there's fog in here. And we don't need color. So this shader will just output the height of the current pixel, I guess, when you render stuff into a normalized value, which basically goes from 0 to 1 within the volume that my snow exists, which is where these hard-coded values come from, because I just know these. So then we actually have to render this. So in main function, or I guess in the render function, we'll have some temporary code. RT snow height map. So this is our render target. We'll initialize this. And again, I'm just kind of hard coding this stuff right now because it doesn't really matter. I'm going to delete this in like 2 seconds. I'm just getting a height map for the level in terms of color, basically. Init, let's see. What is happening? Oh, desk. And then we actually have to render this. So in the level, we will just set this. Why am I not getting IntelliSense? This is really annoying. My IntelliSense broke. Let me restart code. What's going on? How do you make portals, mirrors, and OpenGL in the engine? I don't know. I've never actually done portal rendering. Can you make anti-cheat and how? I don't know. You can ask someone else. There's other people in chat that are doing this. So yeah, maybe they'll be able to help you. Why isn't my, what's going on? Why is my autocomplete not working? What's happening here? Oh, I have F's here. Oh, I'm in the deferred renderer, that's why. Should be here. Okay, so here we go. Target. So we go there, grab our render target, snow height map, and we render, start this render pass, end the render pass. And then in between the render pass, we will just draw the level. Again, this is temporary, so it doesn't really matter what our code looks like. So we will have, let's see, just that, and then shader height map. And we will want a camera projection, most likely. So let's go orthographic projection. Which theme of this is this? It's a custom kind of theme I've made over time. So no theme in particular. Matrix, orthographic. So I guess what are the bounds of my level? I don't even know the size of this thing. What is this? 0, 0 with height. Okay. Why is your only question? No, I guarantee I will not keep it for 10 years. This is actually only temporary. Sorry, it's kind of like a lot of boilerplate just to get what I want rendered here. So I think we want to do like negative 512, 512. All right, so in theory, if I run, we should see nothing first and foremost, which is a good sign actually. So if we render this with render doc, and I just connect, I host a server, and then I take a capture. What I intend to see here, if it worked, is, well, let's see. What do I see? Well, okay, it doesn't actually work. Interesting. I can't tell which. Let me give this thing a label so I can actually discern what I'm looking at. And let's see. And then let's try this again. Yeah, it runs. Yeah, I have like a script that basically drives my whole engine's build process. So it's nice and easy to compile with VS Code. Okay, here's our height map. All right, so this is what I just rendered. This doesn't look right to me though. What's happening? It's hard to see if this is actually the correct. Let me go to a different map. Level 1. Oops. Yeah, okay, here we go. Here's the height map. If I normalize the values, nothing happens. I guess the question is, what is it normalizing on? Does that look right? I don't know. Maybe. These shouldn't be 1 though, I don't think. So something's broken. Let me shift this over as well by 512. Because my idle. I don't need to be in the idle. It's okay. All right, so what's happening? Maybe I'm rendering this upside down. Let me flip these. Okay, let's see this again. A bit of trial and error to get this to work, admittedly. Okay, this actually made it worse. Uh-oh. What happened to my height map? Let's keep this 0. Yeah, there we go. Still white though. Interesting. Interesting. I think I know what's happening. I think I messed up my math though. This should have a parenthesis around it. Order of operations is important. Here we go. Here's a nice looking height map. So you can imagine this is a top-down view of the level. And I can actually use these for the mini-map as well, which should be cool. Because I can render the mini-map based on this height map, and I can like render specific pieces of it based on the height of the player. So it like finds the nearest level that, like nearest height level that you're on. So that could be cool. Obviously it's centered right now, so I need to change the centering of this. So I thought this would work, setting the X and the Y, but I must have overshot the size of the level maybe. Yeah, maybe I need to go to the negative coordinates. It's a bit of trial and error to get this to work. Yeah, there we go. Here's a nice height map. Getting better. Getting better. So we'll go negative 512. I guess it does make sense because I'm like centering the camera to the top left corner of the level, I guess. Oops, I didn't render doc. No, idle's the right word. Okay, it's cool. Here's our height map. Doesn't look very glamorous, but the cool thing is I can save this as a PNG. So let me just save this to the game's directory. And maybe I don't need this high resolution of it. I'm gonna half the resolution of this thing because for snow this is a little overkill. So let me just cut the resolution in half. So it's gonna be 5. Well, I'll keep this size and I'll just set the where did I initialize this? Half the battle is navigating the code base sometimes. Height map 512 by 512. Host. Here we go. So now this thing, based on render doc, you can see it's a 512 by 512 texture. So I can just save this as a PNG, as just an image, and put this in the game's asset directory. And we will close that. Then give this thing a texture. We don't need bitmaps for this, so we'll just generate the texture. And then now we can sample from this in the shader. So we'll need a way of, basically the snow will take in a second texture here. So we'll be like texture 2D, float 4, texture height map. And then we will want to discard basically these vertices based on whether it is above or below the height map. So yeah, so we need a function that takes this world position, this Z here, and actually tests it against the height map. So let's see. Where do I calculate clip position? View position. So I guess here we would check basically if clip height map, I don't know, we pass in the world position, then we'll just set the world position to be some garbage value, like below the map or something. We'll clip the snow by putting it below the map. Flip 3 rather. Why does my music keep shutting off? All right, let's see. So we need to implement this function, basically. So this is a bool function, takes a float 3 position, and it returns true if it succeeds. So we need to take this position and then map it to this texture in UV coordinates. So we know the bounds of our texture were like a 1024 by 1024 area centered around 0, 0. So the way we can get the float UV is equal to a float 2 where position dot xy plus 512, which is half of 1024, just divided by 1024. All right, so this gets us the UV coordinate to sample, so then we can get float height map equals texture sample 2D, texture height map at this UV coordinate. I might need to flip the Y, I don't remember. .r. And then we'll need to map this back. Yeah, I don't use standard libraries either. Mainly for compile time reasons. It's kind of the only big reason. So we need to map this value back to here, let's map this back to the range of our particle height times 512, because this was normalized 0 to 1. Our volume is 512, and then we also have an offset of 12. So then we'll just return position dot height dot z is less than height, right? So this, in theory, would return true if the particle is beneath the height value stored in the height map for the level at that given position. And then if that's true out here, we'll just move the particle way off screen, just because that's kind of how you can discard efficiently in a vertex shader. So then, now we just need to add the texture to the draw call, which is in particles. GFX bind texture, one texture. What's this height map called? Again, I forgot. I'm so used to writing F in things that I do it in shaders as well for floating points. Never a good sign when you have an error. What's the problem? Cannot map expression. What? Which part is it mad about? I don't know what it's mad about. Oh, I'm sampling a texture in a vertex shader. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, so I have to do this, I believe. Here we go. All right, here we go. Nice. Now if we go in the building, we don't have snow in here. We see it kind of on the roof, actually. But you can see that the snow is clipped based on the geometry now, which is nice. So if I go under this pillar, you can see that the snow is not. We can really make this clear by increasing the particle count by a ton. So we'll just like 10x the particle count. Here we go. This is probably turning into a compression soup on YouTube, but nice. There we go. Hey, how's it going? And maybe they should fade out as well, because right now they just immediately disappear when they touch the ground. How fast is it running? Probably pretty fast. I don't know. Let's see. Well, 300 is not that fast. I'm running a debug build though. Let me do the release build. It's already spring. I'm actually supposed to get a snowstorm today, where I live. Okay, so to be fair, I'm getting about 400 FPS, but I'm also doing, how many particles is this rendering? This is rendering, so this is 5,000 per cell, so actually I have 4 of this. So I'm doing 2 million particles, doing basically height test detection against the level. So I'm rendering 2 million particles here. At 300 FPS. And they're like testing against the level, which is cool. Let me put this back down to what it was. And yeah, it's all no libraries. Well, obviously there's a caveat to that, in that I'm like using graphics libraries for rendering, of course. Like I'm using DirectX. Yeah, it's just an instance draw call. It's actually 4 draw calls at the moment because well, I should change this. It's 4 at the moment because I have like the snow broken up into basically chunks around the player. And as you move around, it like loads and unloads the chunks. So there's 4 chunks that are always active around the player that have snow particles. But yeah, it could just be 1 draw call. This game's only been about, I guess, a month and a half now. The beginning of February. Alright, is anyone still in the server? If you guys want to play, I have the download link in the description as well. I have a server running. See, someone's playing. Player 30287. Let me change my username. Hacking is commencing. Alright, I'm curious to see the hacks. It should be easy to do a fly hack, so I expect to see that. What books do you have? I don't really have any book recommendations. I didn't really learn programming through books, so I don't know. The raw position. Nice. Why no Mac server? I can upload the Mac version. You're gonna have to like mess with your Mac to actually get it to let you run it, because Mac is like really anal about letting you run random binary files. So if there's interest in the Mac version, I can upload it. But you'll need to work with your Mac to get it to actually run. Because you need to like certify, like when you make like the app bundle, right? You need to like do some certificate or something, which is like this pain in the ass process that you have to do, and I don't do it, so. When you try to run it on a machine that isn't your own, it doesn't like it. All right, 1 second. Let me go get my MacBook. I will be back in like 2 seconds. Oh, why can't I mute? All right, I'm back. I have my Mac now. Let me remote into it. And let me just push up these snow particle change. Clipping. Just upload that. And wait for that to upload. Yeah, so here's my Mac. It's been a while since I built it for Mac. You can see I haven't synced in 23 versions. Let's see. All right, so let's see here. First, let me just make sure this still runs. All right, I'm gonna close the game. Or I'm gonna turn the volume down. I have a missing return type on a function. Okay, interesting. All right, yeah, here we go. Here it is on Mac. I need to like use my computer off to the side. Let me change the level to the snow level just so I can see that that works. Nice. I have a bit of a rendering bug with the shadows on my Mac. Enter stream libraries. Which library are you talking about? The graphics library? Because you're kind of pedantic if you think that using DirectX 11, which ships with Windows, is a library. Because it's like, how else are you going to render graphics? Am I going to blit my own frame buffer? You still have to talk to the window somehow. I really should change it to say no frameworks, because I think that's more accurate. It is kind of clickbait, I'll admit. But that's why I have an asterisk, because it's like the get out of jail free card. All right, yeah, let me upload this version then. Let's make sure I packaged this. Shell. Okay, so if I go to reveal in Finder projects, what a cluster. Where is it? Here it is. Let's delete that. Move to trash. Okay, in theory, that should have created the package. Yeah, here we go. So if I just send to compressed folder. Yeah, I think what Frank said is basically. So yeah, I know. I this has been a debate many times on the stream. I think I'm partially justified in my usage of saying no libraries, but at the same time, I see where people come from, because like I'm still using libc, right? So like libc is literally library C, right? So I'm using the C runtime. I'm using, of course, OpenGL and DirectX and Metal, which are graphics libraries. Yeah, I'm getting the Mac build up, so hopefully this should work for you guys. Sorry, my throat's a bit clogged up today. Yeah. But it's like, I even on the graphics front, so like, yes, I use OpenGL, DirectX, and Metal, right, as like the interface to the GPU. My engine supports running in headless mode, so like I can run just terminal only with the rest of the engine with none of the graphics compiled into the executable. So like I don't even need to have a graphics API linked at, like either statically or dynamically. Okay, the Mac version is up. Let me rename this. Or no, I won't rename it. It's the one that says Anarchy Release ARM 64. That's the Mac version. I'll hand roll my own GPU. Yeah. But it's like, even on the graphics front, my engine literally has its own shader compiler. Like, I have my own shader language, so I abstract away the shader programming too. Does someone have an aimbot? Oh yeah, he's teleporting. That's what he's doing. Yeah, he's teleporting and then killing. Yeah. See, I don't have authoritative player movement yet for the server, so it's trivial to write a client-side position hack. How am I in here with my own name? Jared. I would appreciate if we don't hack though for the server. Otherwise I might ban you. Because it's not really fun for everybody else. I don't care about the fly hacks, but like the immediately killing everyone is really not too fun. Yeah, so that's what it says. Yeah, the damage and can't be run. It's not actually damaged. It's Mac knowing that I don't have a certificate for like the app bundle. Because I didn't go through the proper like app certification process. So it doesn't like let you run it by default. You have to like go into your settings and like explicitly allow Mac to run the file. That's why I haven't uploaded the Mac versions. I need to like look into how to actually fix that properly though. You should add sprinting. Yeah, I do want to add sprinting and stuff. Yeah, I could add that check for position. What I do want to do is the proper fix is I want to go to a tick-based system for the server and the client. And then rather than the client sending positions, they just send their input. You know, like if I buffer up all the input over ticks, that way the server just plays the input that the client gives it, and then that the server just always knows where the client should be. Oh, got him. This is a game laggy for you only. You do have a ping of like 200 milliseconds. Add some movement mechanics. Yeah. I'll add sprinting, and I'm gonna add crouch, I'm gonna add sprinting, and probably sliding, I think. Or like, I also kind of want to do like the lean around the corner thing, which could be fun. Where'd you go? Got him. Leggy for you only. I don't know what you mean by leggy. So yeah, that should be fun. Not exactly like Call of Duty. Rip. Here, I'm gonna join as my username. Also, do you guys like my text editor? Look at this. This is like all hand rolled. I wrote my own text input system with highlighting and stuff. Pretty crazy. Oh, the server shut down. What? I still have a bug where I have to relaunch the game sometimes. Okay, so this actually isn't too great. Input lock. Yeah, you might have a low FPS. Maybe your computer just can't handle it. To be honest, the snow particles probably aren't helping. I can go to a different level maybe. How to play this? I have a link in the description if you guys want to join. Yeah, I want to add team-based game modes. Next. That's kind of my next objective. Where is everyone? Interesting. It should work with the trackpad. It works with mine. I don't know. I only have my MacBook to test on though, so I don't know how like. Man, the sniping's hard in this game. Let's go for the 360 no scope. I suck at this game. With some bee hopping. Yeah. I bet the RuneScape background music's really adding to the vibe here. Yeah, I have the mouse look disabled by default, just so it's not annoying. All right, let's see. Sorry, I have no clip on. You guys don't get no clip like me. But yeah, you can see how the snow cuts off after a certain height as well. So you got the little snow volume for simulation. It's kind of neat. I'm getting wrecked. Ooh. Oh. Dang it. I need to add like multi-kill, you know, those kind of sound effects. Triple kill. Dang. The sniper's OP. Yeah, the players need animations. Really, everything needs work. It's still early days, really. The movement in general, like the main strategy for movement in this game is to just sprint around and jump. Because there's no penalty for shooting while sprinting, because your accuracy doesn't change. So you just get people bouncing around like little rabbits. Dang it. Alright, so yeah. I'm going to start working on team-based game modes. In theory, I kind of have most of this code working already. I just need to turn it on. But I want to add the minimap and then maybe team-based player spawns. And like some concept of like score for the game mode, just so it's not like truly free-for-all everywhere. So I have some stuff when a client joins the server, it assigns them a team, but then I set the game mode to free-for-all, I think, so you never actually see the team. So let me see where I do this. Here, like, where do I call this? Or I guess I never call it anywhere. So like if I put the default team to team deathmatch, and I launch with the multi-launcher here, and in theory half these people should be on one team and half should be on the other team. So these are all hostile. Yeah, here we go. Nice. Here's our little squad here. So if I get this guy over here, we can see that this guy's on my team, and these guys aren't. So I do have a concept of teams already built in. Yeah, the music's just the RuneScape. Old school RuneScape music. So yeah, team. Nice, and these actually show up correctly too. It's like my team killed the other guy. All right, so maybe I'll do the mini map first, because the mini map should be fun. Oh, there's like thunder outside. Crazy. All right, let me get the other maps as height maps. So let's see, host level 1. Let's print this to render doc. Yeah, so this map is like pretty off-centered. There's a guy inside the floor. Yeah, someone's doing position hacking, which is fun. Okay, so this should be textures, PNG. Height map, shipment. Save. And then we just have to do the same thing for the first map. So we host level 0, take a screen capture, grab the height map for the level, and we will save this also as a PNG. On tile maps, nice. Good luck. This is so goofy. I feel like I'm getting FOMO right now because I'm not in the match. I want to know what's happening. I'm getting FOMO. Where's everybody? Should be 5 people in here. Where are you guys? There they are. What is this? Yeah, I do want to put the source code up on the GitHub at some point. I kind of want to get the game a bit further along before I do that, though. The player shadow scares you. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back. Welcome back. You would have to update it. So yeah, I don't. I'm doing a very, very basic playtest scheme at the moment. So yeah, it's just you have to update when it goes out of date. An auto updater would be cool though. It's actually not too hard to write one either. So maybe that's something I could think about. Okay, so these are both height maps, and I'm gonna use these for the mini map. So this is like my mini map texture, I guess. My mini map's gonna look pretty low resolution though, in the beginning here, just because I don't really care that much. We just want something. So let's get these textures loaded in. So the tricky part is going to be rotating this thing correctly. So I might steal some code to do that if I can't figure this out. I'm literally I just make the maps in Blender. Like here, I'll show you that. I can open up Blender here and just open, I guess, open recent. Here we go. Like here's this map in Blender. So it's nothing fancy. These are just low polygon the level files with like a few textures. Yeah, you missed it on the stream. Here, let me show you quickly because this is kind of interesting. Here, sure, I'll connect to the server. So I added snow to the snowy level, so you can see the snow particles now. And like 20 minutes ago, the snow would clip through the building because the particles had no awareness of like where the roof was. But now I have it so the snow particles actually like test against the height map of the level. That's like a quick way of detecting whether the snow particle is, you know, above or below, you know, the roof of the building. So when you go inside, you don't see snow. That's what it's for. Yeah, they're instance billboards. I can kind of demonstrate that by doing a little draw, a little render doc here. Let's see, like, let's do like go right here. Somewhere in here is my draw call for snow. I don't even know where it is. One of these. Here we go. Here's my snow draw call. Yeah, so I have these instance calls for the snow. So I have 4 of them right now because I have like 4 different chunks of snow that render. Yeah, it's pretty slick. They drift around. There's like a little sine wave that runs basically. So it's all in the shader. It's all like, it's stateless and like procedural based on the shader. So like my vertex shader here doesn't take in any vertex data. It just takes in a number, like an instance count. And then from that, it reconstructs a quad, positions it within the volume, which is like just a chunk region where snow should be, and then gives it like a random seed value, rotates it to face the camera, and then kind of sways it back and forth with a sine and a cosine wave, essentially, and then fades it based on distance. So that's how that works. But essentially they fall straight down, but they do kind of like visually drift around. It's kind of hard to see, I guess, on the stream. Nice. Yeah. Volumes are nice. It's a nice concept. All right, so let's see. I'm going to add the mini map. First, I'm just going to render the map. I'm just going to go in the main function. But the part of the tricky part about this will be getting the rotation correct, so it's like facing the right way on the screen. So I'll need to think about how this works. Where am I? I should be in the main function. So we'll draw the mini map. To do temporary code. Move. We'll move this code. It's only around the player. So that's why I have this concept of a volume. Yeah, I can show that. It's interesting. So essentially, I do an instance draw call with... Right now, I just have it hard-coded as 50,000 snow particles per, like, snow volume. And I draw 4 of these. So I draw in, like if I open up Paint... Or not, this is Notepad. I meant to open up Paint. So like you can think of a snow volume as like a rectangle, right? So like you have this volume that has snow. And say my little blue dot here is like my current camera position, right? I render volumes of snow just around the camera like this. So there's 4 of them. And the snow has like a radius at which it like falls off in transparency. So we'll like represent this in, I don't know, green. So there's like a radius around the camera that you can see snow. And it renders chunks such that like you always have a chunk visible within this radius. And the size of the chunks is like set up such that the size is like double the radius. So that if you're in like the bottom right side of a chunk, you know that you need to render these 3. Versus if you're in the top left, you'd like render the ones up here. And that way I only have to render snow in like chunks around the player, which keeps it efficient because I can just do that in a few draw calls. So that's how that works. If that made any sense whatsoever. All right, so minimap. We'll just first just draw a quad with this texture on it. So let me just have an array of textures as well. This is some rough code. We're just getting the proof of concept down first. And then we'll move it where it needs to go later. So here's our level textures. We can maybe like static assert that. We just do level. I've always used a Windows PC. So yeah, this is C++. I've always used Windows, so I'm just most familiar with Windows. I have all 3 operating systems though, so like I had my MacBook up earlier. It's like on my, here it is. Here's my MacBook, right? That you can see on screen through a remote desktop. So like I can run on Mac as well. Here it is running on Mac. And I can also run on Linux. So here's like a Linux version. So I support all the operating systems. I just prefer Windows because I'm just used to it. And I have like a good Windows PC, so I have a good system. All right, let's see. So we draw a quad basically. This music's a little loud, actually. I make a game 2D or 3D. Yeah, I guess you just joined. So I'm working on this game right now. This is a little multiplayer shooter. Kind of like Call of Duty clone, but with like 1995 graphics. It's a multiplayer shooter that I'm working on. So like these are other people in the stream because the links are in the description if you want to play test. It's a boomer shooter, people like to call it. Dang it. So that's what I'm working on right now. And I have some other games too. So like, this is actually a tangent from my main project, which is my Terraria clone game here. So this is the main game I'm working on, like, that I will sell commercially probably. I really want to get back to working on this project soon. But I started the shooter because I wanted to work on my network code in the engine and just like make sure I understand how to write good netcode before I get like too deep in writing the netcode for this game. Because this game is also networked, but I'm like kind of afraid to get too deep before I realize I make a stupid mistake. So I can set. Hopefully this works. So like I can play multiplayer in this. See, it's like a multiplayer game, right? But this is a much more complicated game because there's like a water simulation and there's like just a bunch of game state that needs to be synchronized for the game to work properly. So it's a significantly more complicated game than the shooter. So I wanted to do the shooter as like I said, just practice kind of working out all of the dumb mistakes before I like get too deep into this one. So that's what I'm working on. That's like the high level justification for my antics here. But yeah, back to the other one. Plus it's just fun writing a little shooter game. I just enjoy working on it. All right, so menu, main. we want to draw these height maps. So draw texture bind. So we'll bind the texture. Current level. Oops, this should be to a slot. And we'll draw it as a quad. Do you use AABB or box 2D? I don't even know what that question is. Do I use axis line bounding box? I guess I use AABB, axis align bounding box. If you're asking like what my preference is on the on the naming convention of that concept, I use AABB. All right, so we'll draw the mini map in like the top left corner for now. See white. Draw quad. All right, so yeah, I don't have physics. Yeah, chat does work. Yeah, here's the level. Yeah, so chat works now. People can chat. Yeah, look. Put voice chat in. That'd be sick. I don't know how voice chat works. Is it possible to Oh wait, what's VoIP? Is that not voice chat? All right, so here's our mini map. Obviously the mini map doesn't rotate correctly or anything like that. Voice chat, yeah, okay. That's what I thought. Yeah, I don't know how that works. I would have to like pull the microphone input or something. I assume you can get it as like a buffer, right? Yeah, like, okay, if you're asking about networking. Basically the one that won. Yeah, I would have to look into that. That'd be fun though. I mean, I don't think voice would be too difficult, would it? Like, I imagine there's some API that can get the microphone input as just a stream of like samples, kind of like how audio works. So you can probably get like a stream of samples in a buffer, which is like the microphone input. And then if you're sending that over the network, you probably want to compress that somehow, which is, yeah, like what Stick just said in the in-game chat. You'd want to compress it, so there would be some compression factor. I guess it would be kind of difficult. I would have to look into how that works. Yeah, because audio is pretty, nice hack there. Audio's pretty, there's a lot, it's actually like pretty memory intensive to have audio. So that could be interesting. Sounds like a fun challenge. I don't use STL. See, I don't use libraries for this stuff. So I use the like the window APIs directly. So like on Linux, I'm using the X window, X input, you know, event system. on Windows, I use like the Windows input system. Yeah. I don't even know if I want voice chat in the game, to be honest, but I think that would be a case where I'd break the library, no library rule, just because it's like, I don't know. Does the shooter support Xbox? No, it doesn't, not yet. I do want to support Xbox. I have a I have an Xbox controller here that I use for games, so I've thought about it. I just haven't done it yet. All right, so mini map. Let's see. I'm back. We're back. Oh yeah, I should also say I'm not I'm not doing a 9-hour bender today like I did the other weekend. So I'm doing a shorter stream today. I'll go for a few more hours, but I'm not going to spend all night. I'm not going to spend all night grinding away at the live stream. Okay, so minimap. I'm going to shamelessly steal. Or let me reason through this. So I want to render this thing with like a matrix that offsets it. Basically, as I move around, I need to offset the minimap such that it's centered on my player position, right? So your player position is the center point of the map. And I also want to rotate it based on the camera angle. So like, and let me just draw a rectangle, which should be like the bounding box of this thing. So we'll have like, this will look pretty nasty at the beginning, but we're gonna like work towards having a working minimap is kind of my goal. So we'll have like a red rectangle with an outline. So this is like the bounding box. Maybe I'll do some variables here, like, let me put this into its own scope as well. So we'll have like a width or size, I guess, because this will be a square. So we'll do that, and then we'll have like size half. These can be constant expressions, I guess. So then when we want to draw the minimap quad, let me think about this for a second. So the center point needs to be so we actually want this thing offset slightly. So we want this like over size. Went from negative size half to size half, I guess. But then this needs to be offset by the player position. Just use X input. Yeah, I might ask ChatGPT how easy it is to add Xbox controller input, because I do all my input handling stuff in the back end. Let's just see. So like Windows. So where do I get the keyboard input? It's like, here's the mouse input movement stuff. So I have this system that basically listens to, what do I call this? You set this procedure callback on the window. So this calls and you get a message. And then you need to switch on the message for the certain message type. And one of these is like the key press message. So I use that for keyboard input. This is for UTF-8, like wide char input. I guess this is the UTF-8 one. This is mouse click stuff. So I would assume I would need a case on this for the controller. I assume it gives a specific event, or maybe multiple for like the joystick and the buttons maybe. And I would just need to add that to my input system. So that's a thing I'll think about at some point. All right, so size half to size half. I just want to think, I'm thinking if this is actually what I want to do here. Yeah, I don't know. Because I like, maybe I should do this with a matrix instead. Like I should construct a matrix. Like I was just gonna size this thing on my own, but maybe it's better to use like a rotation, like a matrix that I construct based on the player position and the camera angle. So I'd have like matrix minimap. Start it as the matrix double matrix 4 build identity. And then let's see, what do I want to do? So I guess the first thing I should worry about is just offsetting this thing based on the player position within the map. So we'll do like a double M4. So the translation will be the camera position dot x y z, and then to multiply these. And then if I set this thing, I should see stuff move around basically. Yeah, stuff is stuff is broken. Uh-oh, what happened? Nice, look at this. This is crazy. What you're using for silent aim. I don't know what silent aim is. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Okay, so this didn't work, of course. Why didn't that work, actually? Here, let me look at my other game. I have some code in the other game that I used. So like I have a camera class that basically does the sort of rotation stuff I want to do. So I have, what do? I scale. Oh, so I zoom. Interesting. I'm going to shamelessly steal this stuff from my other project. And then we will adapt it to work with the minimap. We don't need the inverse matrices though. Just get this. Bullets keep tracking nearby enemies. If you shoot the floor, the bullets will hit the closest player. Oh, interesting. And final boss. Interesting. Yeah, I did fix some of that stuff. All right, what's happening? Double. All right, let's see here. So what is X and Y? And this is zoom. So we want to zoom const double zoom equals 1. So we want a zoom factor. So this translates it back. So this translates it to our position. So I think this would be camera. And then that translates it to the center of the view. So I think this will like completely break again, but we'll see what this looks like. All right, it's not like completely broken. But you can see how I have like something going on. It's a little touchy though. It's hard to tell like what's happening though. All right, let's put this thing on in its own render target as well for now. this will create a render target for a mini map, and we'll render it to this, just so it's not completely confusing. All right, so let's see. Build orthographic with height. So I need a render pass. And we'll just render. So that draws that. Sorry, I'm a bit locked in at the moment. Yeah, it's actually, yeah, I don't have Vulkan. I have DirectX, OpenGL, and Metal for Mac. My Vulkan backend doesn't work yet. Still work in progress. All right, so that draws, I don't need to break the batch, I don't think. So that will draw the mini map into a render target. So let me just verify that this does anything. Nice, here we go. So this is our mini map render target, which contains a mini map, which is nice. Yeah. I don't have a list of keybinds. Well, I have a link in somewhere with my VS Code settings, so I think the keybinds might be in there. I don't remember. Okay, and then we actually have to draw this thing on the screen now. So, do I have like an orthographic projection in here? Yeah, I was just gonna steal this. Oh yeah, that's right. I need to do this as a render command. Okay, so I think my positions are off slightly. Because what position am I? 512 by 512, and now it shows the center of the map in the center. So my positions are off for the mini map. Render doc. I love render doc. All right, so we need to add an offset to this, I believe. I don't know if it's minus 512 or not, something like this. Annoyingly, some of this is hard-coded. It is offset. Now it's better. It's because of the way I generate my height map. I had an offset baked into the height map. Because my coordinates for the level actually go from like negative values to positive values. So if you look in like the bottom left here, you can see my position. So I think it's right now. Now I need to rotate it based on the view angle. So where in this do I apply the rotation, I guess, is the next question. So I translate the center point. So I probably want the rotation in here, right? Double M44. So like matrix view. So I want to translate, rotate, zoom, I think. Rotate around Z with camera dot. Yaw, potentially. We'll see. Other people are in game. Yeah. I have the server up. Oh, look at this. I need to convert from radians to from radians to or degrees to radians. So deg to rad. Here we go. Yeah, I have the server going, so you can download the game and connect now. All right, so this looks fine, but it's inverted, I think, because this doesn't. If I turn right, I don't think this is correct. Like, look, this wall here, right, is showing up here when I look this way. So it's like off either by 90 degrees. I can't really tell. I think it's just off 90 degrees. Got him. All right, so let me see. Is it off or is it inverted? Pi. We'll go by pi half. We'll just trial and error until this is correct. It doesn't look right either. This is confusing. Is it the other way? Something's weird. Something is weird here. What is... Okay, let me think about this for a second. What is wrong? So now it's off. Is pi halves 90 degrees? I thought that was... Because 2 pi is 360, right? Or is 2 pi 180? I don't remember. Yeah, let me just add while we're still in degrees. I don't want to be doing anything stupid. All right, here we go. Okay, so like when I face my forward axis, it's correct. And then when I turn right, the minimap turns left. All right, so that's the problem. I need to negate my sign here. So I need to do this, I believe. Yeah, so pi half, or half pi. Actually, I don't think I need to offset at all. Sorry, this is a bit of trial and error. I'm also mathematically challenged. Don't feel bad. Wait a minute, this is still... Man, this is so tough. So I think I do need to add. Maybe I just had it the wrong direction. I'm mathematically challenged when it comes to these sort of things. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. We got it. I know what it looks like when it's right, and now it's correct. Look, this looks good now. Nice. Did we like run into this little building? Ah. Well, I can't run, but now we have a mini map, which is correctly oriented. I didn't realize the geometry's broken here. Look at that. Nice. All right, so now we actually want to save this matrix. So I'm going to calculate this outside of the function. So I guess the question is, what is x and y? So we want these outside the function too. Where did I calculate those? Oh, right here. Let's see. So now I want to draw the player positions on the mini map, just so I can see what those look like. And in theory, the way we can do that is by multiplying the position by the matrix, this matrix here. So if we like loop over for auto player or player key value in player's states, we have to assume that this is if. So we want to draw the player positions on the minimap as well. So the cool thing with the rotation matrix is we can, in theory, multiply any point by it, and then we get to the correct point on the actual like minimap in like screen space. So I can draw little dots on the minimap where the players should be. So let me just think about this for a second. Yeah, so we want to get the point position dot is equal to float v3 multiply. We want the matrix version of this. So we want the player is this a double? So this should get us a dot in normalized coordinates, I believe. So we want this. We need to unmap this. So times 0.5. Or times 0.5 plus 0.5 times the width of this guy. I think this should get us a dot, so we'll draw a circle. Go like 8 radius. That did not work. Nice. Oh yeah, we're not doing the offset again. So this should be, dang it. Okay. So we want plus or minus, or no, plus 512. So this will be our input here, and then this shader. All right, here we go. I think, well, actually, doesn't look right, does it? That's unfortunate. It's correct for my player, but it's like it diverges the further I get from 0. Interesting. How do I fix that? Because like you can see my dot is in the correct spot, but those dots are not. Do I use OpenGL? Yes, I do support OpenGL as one of my renderers. I actually don't really like OpenGL too much, but I support it, yeah. You're so right. I'll get on my graphics API. I need to lock in. I need to get screen space ambient occlusion. Thank you. You can save me from my... this is a custom VS Code plugin. So it's in the project. If you download the GitHub repository and go to the .manta folder, and then VSC Manta. This is Visual Studio Code Manta. This is a custom plugin I wrote. So you can like install it. I have the install version here if you like want to play with it. But the too long didn't read is these are just custom widgets that you can bind them to commands in VS Code basically. All right, so what did I mess up is the question of the hour. I thought this would just work, to be honest. Am I doing anything dumb? Because this gets the player position in like mini-map coordinate space, which is just the input position plus this, just to get it to the correct range. And then I multiply it by the matrix, and then I just get this back into screen position. Which part of that doesn't it like? So the points rotate the incorrect way, I think, is what it is. Let me test in a separate map. All right, so let's see. If I like stand here and I get the other guy, I just need to like visualize this problem. So it's like one, the scale is off. That's problem number one, is the scale is incorrect. And like the rotation's backwards. So size is 512 here. Is that a problem? I think that's a problem too. So maybe, does this need to be multiplied by half? No, that doesn't do it. Interesting. Yeah, something fishy's happening. Something fishy. Interesting. I guess the problem... Let me look at this for a second. So, like, this is this map's height map. And I think I have an axis flip happening, which is like part of the issue here. So like, what's my forward axis? This is my forward axis right here. So like when I'm at rotation 0, this should be up and down, I guess. So what does our map look like? So our map has that right to left. Because I'm looking at this building along my forward vector. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I think it is something dumb. No, I'm using DirectX currently. No, copyright. What happened to my RuneScape playlist? Here, I need to think about this. Something fishy's happening. I think I'm very close. It's just like there's a mismatch within expectation somewhere. So what could that be? So like the first obvious thing is that the position rotates the wrong direction. Like when I look left, I would expect this dot to go this way, right? Well, I expect it to be perfectly in line, but it's like rotating the other direction. So the rotation's off for some reason. And actually, I think the dot is the correct position, if that makes sense. Well, that doesn't make sense. It's interesting because I'm using the same rotation matrix. So that's very bizarre. Like I can fix this kind of easily. Well, quote unquote fix it. If I just like duplicate this one, so like I have a... Let's just make a separate view matrix. Like if I have like a... view like dots, because like what I need to do is just flip flip this sign, I think, And then if I used this matrix, and then I need to multiply this. View dots. All right, so like if I use this guy for the dots, that might be it. Let's close this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. This matrix stuff is complicated. It's like, okay, yeah, now the rotation's correct, right? So now he's in the right spot. But yeah, if I move, I guess it is relative to the camera, isn't it? Because like if I move X, then it's like it scales in the X-axis. Very interesting. Very interesting. Why does it only scale in the X-axis? That's weird. Here, let's go like to a known point, this corner here. Oh, it's off. It's just off. All right. So as I get close, it gets correct. It's interesting how it's only wrong on the X-axis, though. Like I said, that's pretty bizarre. Pretty bizarre stuff. Am I applying a scale on X that I'm not intending to do? That's so weird. Why would that happen? That's some crazy stuff. Am I doing this wrong? Am I projecting it incorrectly? Position dot X, Y. Let me just get the render target dimensions too, just for like. Still have any credits left? Yeah, for sure. This is so weird. This is like something I asked ChatGPT for help. Help! Help! I guess it's just weird to me how the X-axis is what's not scaled correctly. How does that make sense? Right? It's like it's fine on Y. Look, it's locked in right where I would expect it to be. So I'm not doing anything fundamentally wrong here. Right? That's crazy. It's crazy stuff. I'll tell you what. I guess that should be a hint. That's a hint. It's like it is relative to the player, maybe, but only in X for some reason. Let me think about this. Let's go through this line by line here. So we get the player position as a vec3. We add the offset, so it's like this offset puts it within, I guess, the coordinate space that my texture is. It's because I have a 1024. Well, I rendered this thing as a 1024 by 1024 quad, which is the amount of like world space that the map actually takes up. So that's like the size in world space are those dimensions. And since the map is centered at 0, 0 and goes from like negative 500 to 500, I need to offset to like get this to work correctly. So that's what that's all about. And then I just multiply that point by my matrix. I guess the thing is the matrix does the offset here. So maybe it's because I'm doing a weird double offset. Maybe that's what it is. It's like this translation. Still not obvious to me. Not obvious to me why that's happening though. Yeah, this doesn't explain why one axis. All right, we're going to GPT here. Let's see what ChatGPT says. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Share with the class. Sorry, I'm over here reading ChatGPT. So there's a few things it could be apparently. So I'm not dividing by W when I do this clip space thing. So this could be it, but there's some other problems here as well. Let me just try the divide by W. I don't think that's it though, but I'm gonna give that a shot. Because I think I do the divide in this function. Do I not? Mr. GPT is not too helpful. W should be, let's see. Let me turn this to a float 4 equals because this is a position value, so we want the position to be like translated correctly. So I think we need 1, right, for W. So let's see. So here's our float 4. Does this actually fix it? I don't know. Let's see what happens. All right, so now it's just completely not working. Well, maybe it's a bit... No, it's just completely busted. Interesting. What'd I do? Did I do Y? Yeah, there we go. Why I don't understand this. I don't understand it either. All right, so it's still working. Nope, still broken. That wasn't it, GPT. All right. one more thing, very likely. Okay, so this is the other... GPT is telling me this is very likely. But your minimap at quadron, your orthographic projection, so half of your world might be outside the projection. Here, let me paste it the new code. Vibe coder. You come in the one time in the stream I'm using GPT to get me out of jail. It's not working though. It's not giving me the correct solution. So it's not even working. This is bizarre. I don't know what's happening. Super weird. I guess it's just surprising to me that it like almost works. You know? Like it's like locked in on the I guess the Y position, right? Because look, this is the correct Y position for this guy. So that's locked in. It's just scaled on X, which is super weird. I don't know what's causing that. There must be some reason though. The question is, what is it, right? Like what could cause that? It's like a camera relative scale. So like the further my camera gets from its position on the X-axis, the further my dot flies away from its actual position. Super bizarre. I don't know. Does this count as vibe coding? Yeah, maybe. Maybe it does. Weird. There's some weird stuff. Weird stuff indeed. I have nicknames. Where is he? Look, it shows the username. Also, if you guys want to play, the download is in the description, so you guys can come in and get killed. Yo. All right, let's see. I don't know what's happening. This is really frustrating. Zoom with height. Hey, how's it going? It's going well, going well. Working on the minimap. Running into a weird issue at the moment, so I'm a little confused at the moment. I guess one thing I should look at is this order correct? Is the translate and then rotate and then zoom, is that correct ordering? I don't know. Maybe. Also, I'm kind of confused why I need the negative rotation for the actual minimap graphic, but not for the points. That's also pretty weird to me. That should also be cause for concern, to be honest. Because this should work in a similar way. Unless I need to draw this thing flipped. Maybe I need to flip this. Like my UVs are wrong for my four corners. That could be a problem. I guess the rotation could be throwing off. Let me just delete the rotation component of the minimap, because that's adding complexity. Because the only thing I could think of with why x would be right but y would be wrong is if, because a rotation is like a sine and a cosine based on angle multiply on the x and the y position, right? So like I could imagine if this is incorrect somehow. See, no, but I still get the same behavior here, right? Like look at this. That's super odd. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's weird. Weird stuff. So I guess to verify, as I move along y, so y is the one that's actually broken, technically, right? Because x, so now my x-axis is this red line. So as I move in x, the position's locked in on the mini-map. But as you move in y, the position skews off to the side. Yeah, I do support OpenGL as one of the backends. All right, so is this wrong? Let's see. Here, let's give ChatGPT a new context window here. Which version of OpenGL? 4.1, I think. It's the latest version that Mac still supports. This is graphics. Yeah, it is graphics agnostic. Someone cheating the server. Yeah, we got some hackers in the server. Let me join the server. See what shenanigans people are up to. Let me come with my username here. Nice. Got a bit of a speed hack going on here. Seem to be moving suspiciously fast, if my eyes don't deceive me. But don't worry, I can beat you in this one. Do you like my hack? Hacks. Good day, cheating dev. All right. This is frustrating. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why this is broken. I don't even know what to test next. It's almost like look at this. I've moved, it's like it's scaled by 2, basically, right? In the wrong direction. It's like negated. Maybe, is it negated? Is that it? Do I need to flip Y? That could be it. Because look, as I move from 0, 0, you see how we like should be going up, but instead he goes down? Like the distance here between this imaginary line and this is just like a negative amount. I think I need to negate Y. I think that's it. I think we've cracked the code here. So we negate with that, and then let's try this. Did the server die? I think the server should be fine. Server browser when? That's a great question. Here we go. There we go. It was just a negative issue this whole time. It looked like scaling to me, but it was actually negation the whole time. Okay, cool. Let me get the rotation back in then. So then we can, I guess I don't need this W thing, but I'm gonna keep it on. Yeah, so now we have little points on the mini-map which show where the other players are, which is sick. Yeah, server's still up. Oh, we got a good game going here. Here, let me join with my username. All right. I see somebody flying around through the sky, which is never a good sign. We did it, Reddit. That's a funny meme. We got the Boston Bombers. We did it, Reddit. All right. That didn't work out too well, did it? There's someone down here, though. Where is he? I guess it shows dead people on the minimap, which isn't ideal. Where'd I die from? Is that, yeah, is it not doing that? It should be. I must have like broken something. I'll need to take a look at that. Because yeah, it should replace the text you have, but I guess something's broken with that. Oh, you guys are good. Mini-map. Alright, then I want to clamp the positions based on obviously the bounds of the mini-map. Got him. It was actually just the negation. I had to negate the Y value. So that was unfortunate that I had to do that. Yeah, let's go to the other map. I'm sick of this map. Here we go, new map. It is always something dumb. People flying around through the sky. Alright, let's see. My dad reload as well. Oh. Dang Dang it, man. Yeah, I should add zoom to the one that killed you. Rip. Let's see, where are you guys? See, I have the mini map. I have cheats here. I have an unfair advantage. This game is hard. What's happening? Nice. 8 players, 7 players. See, I need the team-based game modes in here. We need search and destroy. We need I got you. I see you down there. Dang it. I need to add more. I need to add better gunplay. There's so much potential here for good feeling guns. Oh, double kill. All right, new map, new map. New map, new map. Dang it. Hit marker. Oh, that's a nice hit marker sound. I like that. Here, I'm gonna add a new hit marker sound. Orange 451. Andrew GPT just sent me a new hit marker sound. I need like a good player kill sound as well. Other than the headshot one I have currently. Ooh, no scope. Monster kill. How are you up there? Wow, we've got a good crew going here. 8 players? That's like a good free-for-all lobby. I don't actually know. Yeah, this is the game. We're doing a bit of a play test right now, so some people from the stream are in here as well. The link is in the description somewhere if you want to play. What was I gonna say? Oh, I'm going off. Yeah, I don't know what the actual player limit is, Well, I know it's at 32 right now, so like it allows 32 players to connect. And I assume it should handle that fine, but I haven't actually tried that many players. Let me turn the volume down. Yeah. Well, I can change the limit pretty easily. I just picked 32 as like a nice round number. Dang it. So yeah, I don't know. I guess we have 8 currently, so. Obviously this map would be chaos if you had 32 people in here. We need buddy hop. Yeah, that's true. The player movement's a little floaty at the moment. We need grenades. We need knives. You need reload. What else do we need? Kill sound. Ooh, that's a good one. Maybe that should be the headshot sound. I like that. Ooh. All right, nice. 10 players. This is chaos. Yeah, if you guys want to turn your volume down, there's a command. You can just type volume and then like a percentage as a decimal. Because I know it can get a little, the sounds can get a little intense. Because there's no, the attenuation for the sound is pretty weak. Nice. Dang it. Maybe we need a bigger map. Better than CS2. All right, let's go to the probably COD 4 to be honest. Or no, Modern Warfare 2 actually. I'm kind of biased to the old Call of Duty games though. I've thought about I'm reading the chat in the game here. I've thought about people trying to hack the chat and like spam messages. So I have a cooldown timer in the chat and some verification that you're actually sending legitimate strings. So I've thought ahead on that one. I didn't want people spamming spamming chat. Oh no. All right, minimap. I'm gonna go back to working on the minimap here. So I'm gonna move this into its own module. So we'll have a new file called minimap. So this will just include or pragma once. Yeah. I kind of like all the Call of Duties until like Black Ops 2, I think. After that, I kind of lost interest in the series in terms of like actually playing the games. Which is unfortunate, but yeah, I know. Stick RPG, he's in the Discord server, so I know he's hacking. I'm kind of allowing it at the moment just cuz it's like it's good for me to see what the exploits are. Okay, sorry, let me just... speed run getting this mini map into its own little system. All right, so we need this array. So we need basically a lot of this stuff. What is this? Scene or render, my bad. This will be in draw, I suppose. And then what else do we need? This will be a static static double zoom. All right. And then we need both of these. Okay, that gets those. I actually want to store these as potentially statics though. So let me just static these. It's because I might use these elsewhere. I'm not sure yet. Make sure these are all icons, model icons, view icons. View. Model view perspective. All right. Okay, I have an interesting thing we're going to do for a second as well. I'm going to play my friend's Roblox work in progress Modern Warfare 2 clone. Because I want to show this off because it's actually pretty sick. It's Orange in chat. It's his project. But one second, I want to finish this before I do that. I'll need to download some stuff too. Alright, let me just make sure it's all set up correctly. Game is running. All right, so that draws. Let's get the render target portion of this now as well. So we need this guy. We need this. Delete those. And we'll free this guy. And then just steal all of this. So we're just formalizing this a little bit before I continue. So now it just needs all of these. And then that. And I can go in main and just nuke all of this. And then instead, I just draw the minimap here. And then we've freed the minimap system. So free. Let's just make sure I didn't leave anything. So this should work identically to before. Now it's just its own little C++ module to connect to the main server. Uh-oh. The angles are wrong. Wait, why is the angle backwards now? That's interesting. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. What happened? Do I not need this anymore? Is this fake? Was it right the whole time? Interesting. I don't know what changed, but I don't need that negation thing anymore. So I can actually simplify this, which is sick. All right, good. Nice. All right, so my mini map now works. Let me do something over here though. Join the group so I can get account access. Let's see. One second, I'm gonna play a a Roblox game. How come it's not verifying my browser? Start puzzle. Oh yeah, you guys can't see. Look, I have to do a puzzle here. Use the arrows to match up the icon to the left with the cup with the most liquid. What? Oh my gosh, this is actually complicated. Am I a bot? Which one is it? Am I dumb? One of my friends is working on a Roblox. Wait. Are you serious? Which one is it? Is it supposed to look like this? The one with the most liquid? Am I dumb? It's none of them. This is insane. Wait. I might just be dumb. How does this work? Use the arrows to match the icon on the left to the cup with the most liquid. So I need to match the icon above the cup with the most liquid to this? It's not in here. Am I dumb? It's none of these. What do I do? Am I screwed? Right? I'm not insane, am I? Yeah.
Song 1. Song 2. Song 3.
Wait, what?
Song 1.
Oh my goodness, how many are there? You know what? I'm not doing this. I don't have time for this. I'm sorry, Andrew. I don't know if I want to do 9 of these. Are you serious? I'm not doing this. I don't have time for this. Just to play Roblox. They want me to do 10 of those? That's insane. Who has time for that? That's insane. All right. Yeah, for real. That's crazy. Yeah, there's a dot. I need to clamp these positions here. So I need to clamp these to 0 to 1. Because we don't want to render red dots so they're outside of the outside of the minimap. What's the problem? There we go. Nice and clamped here. All right. Looking good. I want to test if the zoom works. I actually didn't think about doing the zoom yet. So if I set the zoom to like 0.5, do I see the whole level or is it just broken? Oh, nice. It works perfect. Look at that. Okay, the next tricky part is potentially the angle. So I want to draw the angle for these guys. So let me just start with drawing a line. Okay, so we have a line that's going to draw. Now we need to define what angle means. So we need to basically do this. So this gets our position into minimap coordinates. And we don't actually need this divide by W thing, I think. So we have an angle or a look world. So this is our look vector. So we have input dot forward dot xy. Ain't nobody got time for that. You're so right. Okay, so let's see. Actually, do I have the pitch and the yaw? I want to calculate this. PKV that yeah. All right, let's see. Let's do this. Now this can be a vec2. This actually needs to be a vec4, unfortunately, because I need to make sure my rotation uses the a W of 0 so it doesn't get translated. What model is this? What do you mean? What model? What, like, weapon model? Okay, so direction minimap. LLM model. Well, I don't use AI really, so I guess there is no model here. This broke. What happened? Position minimap. Maybe I do need the W divide. We'll keep it for consistency's sake. I don't think we actually need it, but we'll just keep it. Okay, so I guess I shouldn't change multiple things at the same time. The human brain model. Yeah. Well, I broke something. What'd I break? Uh-oh. Never a good sign when you break stuff. Oh, did I delete the mapping? Why did I do that? Am I dumb? Dang it. I have to rewrite that too. I don't have that in my undo history. Okay, let me speed run this. Here, we'll get the direction and then the position. Okay, so let's see. Why did I delete that? That was dumb. Okay, here we go. Fix that bug. How come I don't see the line? Position minimap X, Y, plus direction minimap. Vibe coders. All right, let's see. I expect to see a little line draw out of these dots. I kind of see one on this one, so it tells me something's broken though. So what is broken? Oh, this should be. Wait, no, that's fine. Let's do this divide by W thing, even though it should be nothing. It's hard to visualize what these numbers should be. Maybe I need to normalize it. All right, let's see. Let's do the world vector first, just so we see something. Yeah, here we go. So like these little lines are the player directions, but they're not correct with the rotation of the map yet. So I'll need to fix this. For some reason, this didn't work. Why didn't that work, I guess, is the question. There we go. So I just had to normalize it. It's not working though for the other guys. I mean, it's 180 degrees offset, but it's also not working. Yeah, nice. Yeah, graphics is a lot of work. Here, let me check up on chat. Okay, sorry, I was reading through the Discord. What's happening here? I guess what's going on? So I guess I want the rotation only matrix. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for. I'm going for a mix between COD 4 and like the old Counter-Strike games. So what do I want? I guess I only really care about the rotation, so maybe I'll have like I'll split this guy into its own thing here. Because this is what I actually care about, is this guy. And maybe I multiply this guy by that. Something like that. Game's running. Thank you, thank you. The file types is just like an OBJ file. Here we go. Now the player positions are correct. See how like this guy, his little direction line up here faces the correct way. So that's cool. So ultimately what I'm after... Uh-oh. How did I just get kicked by my own server for suspicious behavior? Uh-oh. What'd I do? My server thought I was cheating. LLM confirmed. All right, so what is next? One, let's make the minimap not draw at the let's make the minimap not draw at the top left corner, because that looks kind of stupid. So we'll draw it at the top right corner actually. We'll make it a little smaller too, because it's a little too big. We'll make it 400 pixels. First, let me just see that 400's a nice looking size. And that everything works as expected. Maybe that's too big still. I'll keep it 400 for now. But we'll draw it at the top left corner. So we need like a... I'll draw a mini map. So we'll have like a constant. Root x is equal to window with minus the minimap with minus 16 pixels of buffer or something. This will draw it at the left. Or at the right side of the screen. The not so mini map. Here we go. And I'll hide dead players as well. Okay, so if they are alive, we draw them over there. And then we'll also do a if players is hostile. We'll differentiate between friendly and enemy players. So we draw as a green dot. Nice. Nice. Minimap is still pretty big though, so we'll make it smaller. Do like 320. There we go, a bit smaller. We'll make the minimap a blue color as well, because I think blue would look a bit better. Maybe that's a bit a bit too blue. It's kind of like a purple mini map. Looks good enough for now. Supposedly there's 5 people in here. Where are you guys? All right. I'm suspecting a bit of aimbot going on here. I don't trust it. Seems a little sus to me. That seems a bit sus. It's a bit sus. Make myself an admin aimbot. Dang. Okay, so anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted by my own game here. So I did the mini map to circle back around because I'm adding team-based game modes. So what I really want is to only render players that are not hostile. So if, let's see. So if there's a hostile player, we don't want to see them on the minimap. So then, when I do a team-based game mode, which it should put me in here. One of the windows didn't open. Interesting. So like on this screen at the bottom right, I can see that this guy is my teammate, right? Because he draws in green. But this guy over here, these are enemies. So I can't see them on the minimap. Which makes sense. But this way you can like see where your teammates are on the map, which is nice. Obviously a nice thing to know. if you're playing a team-based game mode. Dang it. You guys are good. Where are you guys? I need my mini-map hack back on. Oh. Dang. Really? Oh. All right. So I'm actually probably gonna end the stream soon. Like I said earlier, I don't have time to stream all day like I did the other weekend. So it's a bit of a shorter stream today. But I'll probably stream again tomorrow and just continue doing what I'm doing now. So yeah, this is a fun little playtest session. And of course, we have the mini map working, which is one of my objectives today. So yeah, I appreciate you guys all stopping by. So yeah, I'll see you guys most likely tomorrow.